Hi, I'm Christian from FixVIT.
And I'm Casey from FixVIT.
Today we want to talk about causes to pause. Big red flags that you're going to see in your life that you need to stop and say, hey, someone's trying to steal information from me. To start with, I want to talk about passwords. Casey, oftentimes I'm asked this, when is it okay to give your password over email?
Never. It is never okay to give your password over email. It's never okay to give your password over phone or even over text. If it's actually your IT company and they need access to your account, they have access to reset your password in the background. They don't actually need access to your known password.
Fraudulent activity alerts come through for legitimate reasons all the time. Attackers have keyed into this as well. What do you do when you see a fraudulent activity alert, Casey?
If I see a fraudulent activity alert, I like to log into the site and verify that information. So if you're seeing a fraudulent activity like, hey, there's a lot of activity on your Bank of America account, click here to sign in. Don't click there. Go to your banking website itself and log into it from there, because typically you try and use this method as a way for you to click on the link to send you somewhere else to type in your information incorrectly.
Casey, have you ever received a call from yourself?
I have, yeah.
It's not uncommon.
No, it's not.
It's actually really easy to fake and pretend to be someone else's caller ID. You can make a phone call from your cell phone look like it comes from any other cell phone. And it's really effective. If you see on your caller ID, this call comes from my bank, you tend to trust it. And then you give information away that you probably shouldn't. It's very important to be very skeptical of caller ID.
Yes.
What do you do when you get a call from someone who's asking for information?
If you're getting a call, especially if it's unsolicited, asking for information, you want to pause and call on a known good number for that person. Sometimes it's good to ask, hey, what's the extension to reach you back at? Because with that, you know you can call the main line for that company and then use that extension to get to them, as opposed to calling back on the number that is provided on the caller ID.
A big red flag is when anybody's asking for personal information. We should be just as skeptical with things like addresses, phone numbers, surnames and maiden names, and high schools that you went to, and historical information. Go to the source. Say, I'm going to call back and verify who you are. That way you know that you're talking to an organization and not an attacker.
Another thing to be aware of when you are looking through your emails is poor grammar.
It's not uncommon that the attackers are coming from outside of the United States and English is not their first language. So grammar mistakes should be a red flag. I always caution people to say, though, many of the attackers have learned to speak English better than me and have fewer grammar mistakes than I do. So it's a cause to pause, but it's not a surefire way to make sure a message is legitimate or not. When in doubt, go to the source.
Another thing to really be wary for is unsolicited email. If you are receiving an email and you aren't expecting it, a lot of the time it's probably good to throw out that email. There is a lot of unsolicited emails that go around asking for information. If they send you something and you're like, hey, I'm not quite sure what this is, it's better to probably throw it out than actually to act upon it. It's rare that tech support is ever free. Whenever someone is reaching out to you to say, hey, we noticed something on your computer, we can, install this software to let us get in, that's typically never true. Usually they are calling you or sending you something to download and install, not in an attempt to help you, but in an attempt to compromise your machine and gather more information from you.
One big common thing to look out for is links in emails. We all see this all the time. We see, click here to change your password, click here to sign in and get this document that's been encrypted for you. They're trying to get you to go to a fraudulent website. Those fraudulent websites will look exactly the same as every website that they're trying to impersonate. I've seen Bank of America websites that look identical to the Bank of America websites. Netflix sign-ins that look identical to the regular Netflix sign-in. You won't even know that you have been phished and your password has been compromised. I also am skeptical of graphic links. I almost never click a link in a graphic. You really just don't know where you're going, and it's really difficult to sometimes see a simple change in a domain. One of the most common attacks that we see is wire transfer fraud. This is where someone tries to get you to send money in some form, either a wire transfer or gift card or something else via email.
Whenever you're doing a wire transfer, transferring of money of any kind, we highly recommend you should never do it via email.
A lot of time with wire transfer, we'll see requests for money from your vendors to pay an invoice, and they'll say we have new wire instructions. We'll see it from mortgage brokers to pay the down payment on your house.
Yes.
We'll see it for gift cards from your boss. What do you do in those scenarios, Casey?
You always call them and verify who you are talking to and verify the number or the transfer that you're doing via phone, via a known method that you have to communicate with them other than email, because it's very easy to spoof an email.
One of the more common methods that attackers use in conjunction with all of these other causes to pause is urgency. Hey, your Netflix account has been canceled. We're sorry to see you go. Click here if you'd like to reactivate that. Sometimes it'll be from your boss. Get this done, wire this money out. I'm away from the office. I don't have time to answer any questions. That urgency is designed to make you make a decision. It's designed to say, you're going to lose something if you do nothing. When there's urgency involved, slow down. Make sure that everything looks legitimate. Go to the source, verify. It's worth it to take the extra time and make sure that you're talking to the right people. Make sure that you're not falling victim to any of these causes to pause. Understanding and being able to recognize these red flags is critical to protecting yourself
And your organization.
Thank you.